myself, Michael Kushmerek, Councilor Joel Caddy, Councilor Amy Green, Councilor Dave Clark. Our chair, Jeff Bean, is unable to join us this evening. Tonight on the agenda, the first item before us is a new appointment. It's Interim Executive Director of Community Development to fill the vacancy of Larry Casassa until a qualified permanent appointment is confirmed, is Miss Elizabeth Murphy. Liz, good evening.
Good evening, councilors.
So, councilors, this is simply that until a successor to Mr. Casassa has been named, we have Elizabeth Murphy here to fill that vacancy and help us bring us through this interim period of time. So, Liz, thank you for your continued service to the city and your willingness to step into this role to help guide through this transition period.
You're welcome, and I thank the mayor for having the confidence in me to appoint me interim director.
Questions or comments from councilors? Councilor Boschman.
I think you're doing a heck of a good job. That's a good word.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Councilor.
Move the appointments be granted.
Second. I have a motion and second to confirm the appointment. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's confirmed. It's unanimous. Thank you, Liz. Next on the agenda, we have our building commissioner for a term to expire June 7th, 2020, Mr. Mark A. Barbadaro. Good evening, Mark.
Hi.
Thanks for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
If you could kindly introduce yourself, talk maybe a little bit about your professional experiences and qualifications.
Okay. Well, my name's Mark Barbadaro, and I grew up in the town of Acton. And my brother and my father were builders, and so it just seemed natural for me to start building with them. Worked on a construction company. I've done several subdivisions. I've designed several homes. But I decided that what I liked most about construction was the rules and the structure of permitting. So I went to Acton and asked them if they would hire me as a local inspector. And fortunately for me, they did. And I spent 6 or 7 years working in Acton as a local inspector. And I decided to move on because it was apparent that I wanted to move forward. And my boss was my age, and he didn't seem like there was much room for growth there. So I decided to try moving to Martha's Vineyard, and I took the position of building inspector in the town of Oak Bluffs, Martha's Vineyard. And it was a great experience, and I really enjoyed it there. But my wife couldn't adjust to living on the island, so we decided to move back. And about that time, I saw that there was an ad for the Fitchburg Building Commissioner. So I decided to apply, and I'm very grateful that the mayor has decided to hire me for this position, and I'm hoping that City Council will agree as well.
So, Mr. Barbadaro, I think Fitchburg has had some tremendous growth over the past several years, particularly under our new mayor, and certainly I'd be curious. I think our biggest, one of the biggest issues we're fighting right now is really just perception and a misconception, I believe, that Fitchburg is not business friendly, and so I think while there's certainly Massachusetts building code and local ordinances to enforce, I think there's still exists an opportunity for us to operate within those confines and really show that we can be business friendly and really work well to develop our local economy and expand it. Can you talk a little bit about how you can look to achieve that within Fitchburg?
Sure. Well, the town of Oak Bluffs had a very similar feeling in their town that the land use departments were not user-friendly to the businesses. And they have a very short window, unlike the mainland, and on an island that's vacation-oriented, you're basically, you've got 4 months to make your entire year's salary. So if you don't get your permits done, your business is open, you can go bankrupt, if you're 2 months late. So I think this perception of approachability is key towards getting any businesses to be able to interface well with the town departments. So what I try to do is be available as much as I possibly can to explain things. And when I have to say no, I try and say it as early as possible so that a new course could be charted. I want to leverage technology as best I can to try and expedite the process. And, these are just some of the ideas that we were trying to implement in Oak Bluffs when I moved on. But when I did leave, there was a feeling that the department was user-friendly, and I was, very pleased with that result.
Well, you're certainly you're abundantly qualified, and you're certainly passionate about this field, and look forward to seeing your energy and expertise applied here in the city of Fitchburg. So thank you for being excited to lend your expertise to us. Councilor Boschman.
Now, did I hear you correctly say that you moved to Fitchburg, Mass. on this new job? Are you moving from the Cape to Fitchburg? No?
No, I moved to the, right now I'm living in Littleton, but I plan to, at the end of the month, move to my house in Boxborough.
Foxborough. Not Fitchburg, though?
Not Fitchburg, because I own a house in Boxborough.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when I left to go to the vineyard, I rented out my house. I never sold it.
Oh, okay.
And so now I have the unsavory task of asking my tenant to leave. And then,
Now, as a commissioner and as an inspector and all that, one question I got to ask. Are you going to come and try to be a hands-on guy to come and say, yeah, you can do this over here, and no, you don't need an architect for this, you do it this way, and you won't need to get an architect? Are you going to be that type of an inspector? Like, a couple of things that I know of, we had to get an architect for certain things. And, I just want to know if that's going to be the case. Are you going to be hands-on to try to help us save, make it better?
I think that people need a course, so you really need to, when the customer comes in the door with their hopes and dreams, you need to be able to steer them as quickly as possible in the direction that gets them through the process as easily as possible. And there's, the building code spells out when you need to get an architect involved, and it's pretty clear. But I would be, I would like to be there to try and help plot a course with applicants who are, particularly ones who are having trouble navigating.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Councilor Green.
My question to you would be, are you familiar with our View Permit software system?
In Oak Bluffs, we were about to purchase a software program, and we were going to buy Viewpoint, which I believe is the same company's product, only a newer one. And I'd reviewed that product, and we were intending to implement it. But when I decided to move to Fitchburg, we held off. I have not used View Permit, but I am a pretty competent user of software generally. I've used Munis and other software programs to do permitting with.
So then we could expect, if we were asked for updates and progress on people's permitting process, you would be capable to do that and implement that into our software system that's already in place, correct?
That's what I would. Will be one of my objectives. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that.
Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to mention that we're certainly glad to have you out here, and we look forward to a long stay. So we'll be looking for you on the streets of Fitchburg. Thank you for considering Fitchburg, and it's great to have you here tonight.
Well, thank you all.
Mayor DiNatale.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mark and I had a nice conversation the last time he was here, and as demonstrated by what he said just now, he's absolutely committed to getting to yes. That's the whole message and mission that we want the building commissioner to be cognizant of, and to work within the legal frameworks that exist on the state and local level. But again, being helpful, being a participant, that's what's important, and he understands that. It's a very different approach than what we've been accustomed to. So we're looking forward to it. We'll be chatting tomorrow morning. I've already got some some tasks for him, you might say.
I hope this goes well tonight.
Don't scare him before he's
Oh yeah, I know.
confirmed.
Well, I'm hoping you get appointed. By the way, that's right. There's a little detail there. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thank
Councilor
you.
Donnelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was privileged to be on the interview committee, on the selection committee for the building commissioner. Thank you for that. And we were very impressed, all of us, with them. You can see he gives a good first impression, which we really haven't had in quite a while. And we hope that he can smooth over a lot of the waters that have been ruffled up, or rough waters that we've had for a while. So I give him our blessing.
Councilor Caddy.
So, Mark, I'm very familiar with Oak Bluffs. I would say business is business. Oak Bluffs is an older town, older buildings, I'm sure building issues. What do you see? Are there similarities between Oak Bluffs and Fitchburg that you can see? We're a much bigger community. We're not a vacation community like Oak Bluffs is, but do you see the similarities? Do you see the same problems that would be inflicted by Oak Bluffs coming to Fitchburg forward?
Well, in Oak Bluffs, the very small year-round population are all entrepreneurs, are all business owners in town, and working with them, I'm proud of my reputation in Oak Bluffs, that I worked really well and worked hard to be business friendly. And I think, although it's small, in the wintertime, like as I said, about 6,000, there's over 20,000 there in the summertime. And it has a great downtown, very old buildings, as old as the buildings in Fitchburg. And they are all in various stages of disrepair. So, the similarities, I think, are, from what I'm hearing, a desire to have better interactions with the land use departments, and that's what I want to try and deliver.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the appointment.
Second.
I have a motion and second to accept the appointment of Mr. Mark A. Barbadaro as building commissioner for a term to expire June 7th, 2020. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've got work secured, at least for tomorrow.
Last item on the agenda this evening is a reappointment, a member of the Fitchburg Disability Commission, term to expire June 1st, 2018, Ms. Sharon Tardif. Is Sharon here this evening?
She's not.
She's not. So this is councilors, this is a reappointment. Qualifications and resume were provided in the packet.
Motion to accept the reappointment of Ms. Tardif to the Disability Commission.
I have a motion and second to confirm the appointment. Speaking to the motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous. Appointment is confirmed, and that concludes the agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, councilors.